everyone, it's low carb and keto nutrition specialist Amy Berger bringing you, as always, keto without the crazy. Speaking of keto without the crazy, just a reminder that we have merch. Represent! If you want to spread the message of keto without the crazy, consider picking yourself up a mug. We have tote bags, we have sweatshirts, hoodies, t-shirts, all that good stuff. There's a link to the merch store in the notes. Second order of business before I get into the topic. Who's a fan of Element? Who loves Element electrolytes? Probably many of you. If you like Element, but if you happen to be interested in exploring other electrolyte products, you're just maybe looking to expand your horizons, then I want to tell you about SALTT from my friends at Keto Chow. And it's SALTT, but it's pronounced salty. Salty, just like LMNT is pronounced element. And you can see it comes in lots of different flavors. This is a sampler pack that they were kind enough to send me. This is not a paid post. They didn't sponsor it. I know the product, I like the product, and I actually write for Keto Chow. I write some articles for their blog. So anyway, they have a couple of different flavors that Element does not have, but they have citrus and orange and mango. They have berry. They have one that is melon. They have some that are good in hot beverages and coffee. They have a chocolate. They have caramel, and then a couple of other ones. And it's slightly, the formulation is a little bit different from Element. So the taste and the flavor is a little different because the salty has approximately the same amount of sodium as Element, but it has double the potassium and about triple the magnesium. Now, whether or not that's good for you or indifferent, negligible, depends on you, depends on your needs and preferences. But I just wanted to point out that because of that difference in the mineral content, the salty has a different kind of taste profile compared to Element. But if you're also thinking, how can she possibly be promoting two different electrolyte products? Listen, I like ribeye. I also like a New York strip. I like fatty salmon with crispy skin. I also like a nice thick cut pork chop. My heart is big enough to love lots of different things. I can love Element and also love salty. So just something that is available for you. Keto Chow also has liquid mineral products. So if you're kind of looking for just a nice comprehensive mineral thing, when I work out really hard and I sweat like a pig, cause I do, I'll use an Element or I'll use a salty, or I will put a nice big splash of this in a big water bottle, with some flavoring and stuff. So they have a nice big bottle. They have a little tiny bottle for maybe travel needs or taking in your purse or briefcase or gym bag. So just some different options that are available for you. And does everybody need extra electrolytes on keto? Does everybody need to micromanage this? No. But if you know that you are someone who does, if you know that you need a lot of extra sodium to prevent headaches or to prevent fatigue or sluggishness or whatever, or you need some extra magnesium to ward off leg cramps, or it helps you sleep, what have you, then consider checking these out. Okay, 3.5 minutes in. Amy, let's get to the topic. Okay. Did I mention there's a code below for Keto Chow electrolyte products? Yes, there is a code, or not a code, sorry, a link in the notes. Let's talk about the scale. Let's talk about how to make sense of the number we see on that inanimate mechanical device on the bathroom floor or the floor of wherever you have it. I did a video a while back on why you should not have a goal weight and why the concept of a goal weight I find very problematic. I will put a link to it in the notes. But we're not going to talk about that today. I want to talk about why your scale weight, and I'm pointing down because as if I have a scale here in my office, which I don't, but typically they're on the floor. Why your scale weight can increase, and it does not mean that you have gained body fat. It pains me when I see things on social media or in various groups I'm part of, I did X, Y, and Z and I gained 2 pounds, or I didn't change anything and I'm up a pound. Okay, first of all, a pound is kind of negligible. Even 2 pounds is sort of negligible. Not really negligible, but it doesn't mean you've gained body fat. Your total body weight, as reflected on a scale, does not reflect only your body fat. And I actually have a lot of notes for this one. So, if you are someone who weighs yourself often, several times a week, maybe even every day, that's fine. I don't think it's a great idea to weigh every day, but some people like to do it because they feel it sort of keeps them on the straight and narrow. It kind of keeps them from straying too far. Fine. If that's you, you get to weigh yourself as often as you want. But what I hope for you and what I want for everybody is that when you step on the scale and it's fluctuating a little bit from day to day or week to week, that you don't freak out and get really worried or get angry with yourself and think that keto is not working or think you've done something wrong if your weight is up. Because here I'm going to tell you 4 reasons, and more than 4 because there's going to be some bonuses, as to why your scale weight can increase without you having gained body fat. It's very normal for scale weight to fluctuate. It's not normal for it to be like the exact same weight every single day for your whole life. Well, obviously not your whole life. I hope you weigh more now than when you were born. So let's start out with a quote from one of my all-time favorite books about low-carb and ketogenic diets, and it is The Art and Science of Low Carbohydrate Living by the great Stephen Phinney and the great Jeff Volek, 2 of the most well-known, most experienced researchers in keto. Dr. Phinney has been publishing research on ketogenic diets almost as long as I've been alive. Let's put it that way. So anyway, The Art and Science of Low Carbohydrate Living. If you haven't read this and you like to read about low carb and keto and you want to learn more, definitely recommend it. It is equally good for medical and dietetics and nutrition professionals as it is for lay people. It is very, very scientific, but super easy to read, written in plain English, very readable. So, Drs. Phinney and Volek wrote one of my favorite quotes about dealing with the scale. Don't trust the bathroom scale with your mental health. We humans are about 2/3 water. Each of us contains about 40 liters or quarts of the stuff, and each liter weighs a bit over 2 pounds. Our bodies effectively regulate fluid balance by adjusting urine output and sense of thirst, but this is done within a 2-liter range. Within this range, your body doesn't really care if it is up to a liter above or below its ideal fluid level. What this means is that we all live inside a 4-pound wide gray zone. That's approximately 2 kilos for you kilo people. A 4-pound wide gray zone, so that from day to day we fluctuate up or down, i.e. plus or minus 2 pounds. This happens more or less at random. So with any one weight reading, you don't know where your body is within that fluid range. Your weight can be the same for 3 days in a row, and the next morning you wake up and the scale says you've gained 3 pounds for no apparent reason. For people who weigh themselves frequently, this can be maddening. Yes, maddening is putting it lightly. It can be crazy making. It can be anxiety inducing. And we don't like crazy with our keto. We are keto without the crazy, if Amy can, orient the mug correctly for the camera. So that's the overarching thing that we need to understand when we step on the scale, is that it can be up or down because we have had fluid gains or losses. So then that number does not only reflect a gain or loss of fat, of adipose tissue, as it is technically called. So here are 4 reasons as to why your scale weight, the number, the total weight of your body can increase without you having accumulated more adipose tissue. Number 1, environmental humidity. I don't know about any of you out there, but when it's humid, I puff up like a balloon. There are rings that are normally loose on me, or just that fit properly, that I can't get on and off when it's humid out. I'm just puffy. Maybe I've changed nothing about my diet, nothing about my exercise. Why am I so puffy? Because it's really humid out and my body is holding on to a lot of water. So You have probably noticed that too. All right. Second reason why the scale can be up and you haven't gained fat, menstrual cycle. Mic drop, enough said. Do I really need to elaborate there? Ladies of any age, if you haven't figured that out yet, newsflash, you might be up a pound or 2 or 3 at a certain time of the month, and then it kind of goes back down. That is not body fat, right? Third reason why your scale weight can increase and it does not reflect a gain of body fat is just sodium intake. Some people are more sensitive to sodium than others. Some people can eat lots and lots of salt and nothing happens. Some people eat salt and their body just likes to hold on to more water. And I do think that when you are on a very, very low carb or ketogenic diet, because of the lower insulin levels, your body is less prone to holding on to a lot of water, because when your insulin levels are much lower, your body does not retain as much sodium. When you retain a lot of sodium, you retain water to balance that osmotic to balance the osmotic balance, to balance the osmotic pressure, osmolality, whatever it is. There's like a lot of fancy biochem words that I barely understand. But the point is, this is actually why elevated insulin in many people is the cause of hypertension. It's not that they're eating too much sodium. It's that their body is retaining too much sodium, and it's retaining the sodium because that's what insulin is telling it to do. So anyway, when you're on a very, very low carb diet and your insulin levels are lower, we just don't hang on to as much sodium and we don't hang on to as much water. That being said, even on a keto diet, some people still will be extra sensitive to it. So you might know that this is true for you. Maybe one day, if you have an extra salty meal or just a lot more salt than usual, you might be puffier the next day. Again, you're puffier because you're holding on to water, not because you've gained 2 or 3 pounds of body fat. Fourth reason, believe it or not, intense exercise. I know you're thinking, doesn't exercise help me lose weight? Like, what the heck is going on? Yes, but ... I'm going to share with you another quote from The Art and Science of Low Carbohydrate Living that has a really interesting explanation as to this phenomenon of when you have worked out really hard, that your body might be holding on to water. And I've noticed this myself. Maybe you have too. You do a really, really hard workout, you might actually weigh more the next day or two. I'm actually experiencing this right now. I finally have gotten back to strength training after a several-month unplanned hiatus, and I am really sore right now. I was up 3 pounds. That's a lot for me, and because I'm actually trending downward, and so to see like all of a sudden this 3-pound jump, I was actually very discouraged until I remembered that, oh, of course, I'm really sore. Yes, I'm going to be heavier on the scale, and here's why. Doctors Finney and Volek wrote, "A sore muscle is a swollen muscle. Most people think that if they do an intense workout, say 90 minutes of circuit training in a gym, that they should lose weight. And indeed, if you weigh before and right after such a workout, the scale goes down because of sweating and water weight loss. However, if it makes you sore for the next few days, don't be surprised to see the scale go up. That's because muscle soreness indicates that your muscles are temporarily inflamed, and inflammation causes fluid retention and swelling in that muscle. Once again, don't let the scale make you crazy. Once the soreness is gone, the swelling is gone, and the scale comes back down to where it's supposed to be." And don't confuse that it's only intense workouts. Think of it like, maybe if you are really sedentary, but then it snows, maybe, okay, not in July in Virginia, but or June, sorry, it's June. But if you go out and shovel snow, and of course, you're going to be really, really sore the next day. You're not used to it. You've gone a whole year without that. Your back, your shoulders, your arms are going to be sore. Or, that first big gardening day of the spring. Maybe you're like digging up all the old beds and planting new stuff. Your back will be hurting for days, your knees, your shoulders, whatever. So anything really that taxes your muscles in that kind of way that leaves you sore is going to cause your body to hold on to water. And so I said there would be some bonus things. Those are the big four. What were the big four? The humidity, menstrual cycle, sodium, and muscle soreness, overexertion. The other things include things like, let me consult the notes. Well, here are a couple of things that may cause your weight to be higher, but unlike the sodium and the exertion and the humidity and stuff, these are things that will keep your weight higher kind of perpetually, and not so much the day-to-day fluctuation. If you have congestive heart failure, or if you have kidney problems and your body cannot properly get rid of excess fluid, you may be puffy, you may be holding on to excess fluid in your body. There are a lot of medications that either cause overt weight gain, overt gain of fat, or make you hold on to excess fluid. And they include, this is just the short list, NSAIDs, the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory, basically pain reliever drugs, certain blood pressure medications, certain drugs for diabetes, and a lot of the mood stabilizing drugs, antipsychotic drugs, drugs used for psychiatric conditions. So a lot of those can just cause either weight gain sort of perpetually, or, you know what I mean. All right. Injury, if you're injured or like recovering from trauma from a surgical procedure, or you just hurt yourself in some way, you're probably going to be puffier. It's just like those sore inflamed muscles. If you're injured somewhere and there's inflammation there, that's your body's response to injury, is what inflammation is, you're going to be puffier or heavier on the scale, because your body's going to be retaining water or fluid because your body needs it to either help your immune system to mount that response to protect that injured tissue. Even if you get a sunburn can cause your body to retain fluid. Why? Because a sunburn is an injury. It's probably like one of the best examples of inflammation. Are you not red? Hello, inflamed? Red like flame, like fire? And even if you have a sunburn, you're very often literally hot to the touch where the sunburn is, right? So all of that can cause your scale weight to be up, and most of it's not body fat. And what you can do is, instead of being annoyed by it and being, you just say, oh, how nice that my body is working exactly the way it's supposed to. Thank goodness. You know, thank you, body, for providing for me in the proper way. Thank you, body, for taking care of me and keeping me safe. So that was just a reminder for those of you who weigh yourself frequently. And like I said, it's you do you. You get to weigh yourself as often or as less often, as infrequently as you choose. Some people weigh every day, some people weigh once a week, once a month, or never. But if you weigh frequently, I just want you to understand how to look at that number in a logical, rational way, and not automatically be disappointed or frustrated or angry or resentful or whatever, all these negative emotions, if you see that it's up a little bit. Always think about the context. What did I do yesterday? What did I do the day before yesterday? Where am I in my cycle, right? Just think about that before you turn to, oh my goodness, keto isn't working. I'm a failure. What am I doing wrong? Screw this, pass the chips, right? Okay. Thank you so much for watching. And I do want to say also, thank you so much for the lovely, positive, supportive, encouraging comments you have been leaving on my most recent videos. I appreciate them. I appreciate you for taking the time to leave those comments. I really, really do. So keep them coming. I love knowing that something I've said is valuable and helpful. And until next time, keep the crazy out of your keto.